If you are as excited for New Comic Book Day as I am, you are in the right place. This is the right time. Hit that subscribe button and buckle up. Welcome back, everybody. This is New Comic Book Day Wednesday down in the ComicManAndy Comic Cave and Comic Dojo. We had a lot of great value today, and we did a little bit of cutting back, and we got a good bit of reading done. Pretty exciting day. So welcome back to New Comic Book Day Wednesday. Like I said, we got a lot of value. We got quite a few books. But we didn't get a ton of high price ratios. So that's kind of nice. We got a lot of value for what we were picking up. And we'll roll into this in just a moment as people roll into the chat tonight, because I can say that we finally picked up a DC book this week. Yes, that's right. Nice House on the Lake is back from their little hiatus. And I tell you what, I remember quite clearly where we left off with Nice House on the Lake number 6 and them finding that other structure. And then when I open this up and dig into this, it kind of doesn't mesh very well. And I don't know if I'm missing some layers or if I'm missing some things that are happening or going on. So with one read through just wasn't going to be enough for me. I'm going to have to read through this again and probably go back an issue or two prior to try to make it connect a little bit better. But I'm happy to have this back and see where this is definitely going to go, because it's creepy, it's fun, very interesting. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but it's got a weird twist to it that you're going to enjoy. If you enjoyed any of Tinian's stuff, you're going to enjoy this read. Battle Delta's in the house tonight. What is good, man? Thanks for being here. Michael Glant, good to see you as well. Happy New Comic Book Day, everybody. What is up? Yes. So we got a DC book this week. It's not often we pick up DC books. Right now, I think actively we're pulling Peacemaker and we're pulling Nice House on the Lake, really, for DC. I think that's it. That's probably going to change now, though, with Zdarsky heading over to Batman, right? If I remember correctly, Zdarsky should be heading over to Batman. JP, correct me if I'm wrong. Yo, Andy in the chat, what's up? But Zdarsky should be heading over to Batman at what issue? I don't know. DC, let's go. Comic Fanzine, what is up, brother? Thanks for being here. Yes, DC, let's go. So yeah, you guys know more often than not, I'm down here like make mine Marvel, or I'm buying a crap ton of indie books. But DC's picking away slowly but surely. And I think one of the best ways to make this work, to get in some of these DC reads and kind of broaden my horizon, is we started making some big cutbacks. House of Slaughter, we are down to just cover A. Berserker, we're not far. I kind of want to see out the last remaining issues for Berserker. It's just a 12-issue series. But we're making some cutbacks, which means we've cut back on some high ratio variants for House of Slaughter. Probably going to happen for Something Is Killing the Children as well, because of the fact that we're so far deep into that. The high ratio variants kind of lose that like third trifecta of collectability for me. They're not going to be major keys anymore at that point. July, he takes over. Not sure what issue. Yes, Zdarsky. I'm kind of excited about that. Dad, are we a family of pyromaniacs? We are, son. That one is classic. That one's pretty good. Yep, looking forward to July. So that means we're moving and rolling from DC, rolling and moving and rolling, hipping and hopping, hippity and hopping. We're going on over from DC to Marvel now. And when we talk about making cutbacks, now it's time to start looking at the titles, because I was 100% for sure telling myself, yes, I sent that email and I cut this off my pull list. But it was there in the pull list box. And you guys know me, if they pull it, if they order it because it's on my pull list, I'm that kind of person that I'm going to pick it up and pay for it. I'm not going to leave a shop stuck with a book. But now, like, I'm kind of on a happy medium, because I'm digging this cover here, actually. This cover's kind of reinvigorated my interest in this run. We'll see if this holds out, but I'm still going to make sure I email them back and say to drop Alien, because it wasn't quite the read that I thought it was going to be. The new story arc, some people had told me had gotten better, but nonetheless, I don't remember getting 8 and 9. We're going to have to pull those books and take a look. How about the Good Boys and Stray Dogs? Have they calmed down? Good Boys and Stray Dogs? Stray Dogs, I don't know. Good Boy is just getting hype train, the beat just keeps building, as good old Uncle Mel would say. Good Boy beat just keeps going. Stray Dogs, I'm not too sure. I haven't been paying much attention to Stray Dogs. It was one of those ones that kind of flew under the radar for me, and I had many other things going on when that came out. But like we said, we talked about cutting back on some issues. Now I remember when Zdarsky's run on Daredevil was coming to an end, and they changed it over to the woman with Daredevil, the Woman Without Fear. Daredevil or Zdarsky started doing Devil's Reign, and there was this whole tie-in, right? Mojo Quid, what is up, man? Thanks for being here. Good to see you. So Devil's Reign is happening, and I'm like, yes, I definitely want to read that. Little did I know when I said I want to read that, I was gonna end up getting Spider-Man books from writers that I'm not really picking up or interested in reading. So the Devil's Reign, the tie-in crossover thing got me. It got me again. So I'm going to have to try to clean this up, because this is just going to hit the reading pile. The Devil's Reign stuff, I thought they were keeping it to like a 6 or a 12 issue series. I didn't realize that they were going to tie in Spider-Man. I didn't realize that they were going to tie in X-Men, titles that I'm just not reading right now at the moment. I probably should be, but more often than not, I'm going to go back digitally, or I'm going to go back and read in trades, because the single issue Wednesday to Wednesday stuff, like we talked about, we're working to get as much value out of what we're picking up as we can, but we're also not trying to pick up a bunch of stuff that just becomes fodder that gets stuck in the mix of everything, because the pull list has gotten uncontrollable to a degree. Like we talked about that. Stop buying all the tie-ins. Yes. Well, look, I don't always realize that when I'm asking to read a run, that means tie-ins as well. So I have to be more specific with my requests and make sure that I'm not doing that. How about the new Strange cover with, I don't have that. I didn't pick that like we talked about. I'm kind of, unless it's like priority or I ordered it, like obviously you're seeing some books that I shouldn't have ordered, but some I did. I'm picking those up. But unless they're high priority like Star Wars or some of the indie stuff, I'm trimming back hard. There's a lot of work to do this spring. But Daredevil, the Woman Without Fear, is definitely staying on the pull list. That, like we talked about, that last issue that was out. Oh no, that was that Elektra. I'm sorry, that was Elektra #1. That cover was 100% pure electric, gorgeous. That's intriguing to me still to try to, even though it hits the reading pile, it's intriguing enough of a run or a series that I want to pick up the single issues so that I do have those available and not just read it digitally. TM Nerdy, what is up? Station ComicManAndy, good to see you. Station JP, he says, but yes, JP, stop buying all the tie-ins. That's where I'm at. The only tie-ins that I'm really interested right now is my I'm still a little chapped after War of the Bounty Hunters, but all the Star Wars tie-ins, and there's a reason why now I think it's more important for me as a Star Wars fan to be picking up all these tie-ins. Speaking of Star Wars, we're still sticking with Marvel, but the second printing of Darth Vader 20 is out with that silver border, and we had to grab copies. We had to grab stuff for the PC. So there that is. Print run be damned. I think this even going for a second print and the print run being opened up a little bit and a lot more people ordering it, I still think that when the rest of the Star Wars and Mandalorian fan base realize that this is out, first print and or second print, I still feel like the print runs aren't going to be enough to satiate the fan base over the course of the next year, especially when Mandalorian season 3 drops. So this is an issue. This first print and the second print are issues to keep an eye on. I am very looking forward to catching JP Budget's comic collecting, his content, to see if either of these make any of those lists, and if they do over time, what happens. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. Very curious to see what happens with that, because I feel like the larger chunk of the Mandalorian and Star Wars fan base that aren't regular Wednesday warriors haven't picked up their copies or don't know about them yet. And I know that a lot more copies were ordered. And when I got to my LCS today after work to pick up my pull list, I noticed that there wasn't a massive stack of them on the shelf. There was maybe 5 or 6 copies left. So either people didn't care or they didn't know. And I'd be shocked to hear if people didn't care about the first comic book cover appearance of Din Djarin and Grogu on a second print. I'd be shocked to hear if the fan base didn't care. I really honestly would. That'd blow my mind. I know the fan base cares to a degree. So maybe people just weren't aware. That's got to be it. I mean, I don't know. That being said, Star Wars, the regular run 21 is out. This is definitely going to hit the reading pile. This is going to be this straight run of Star Wars and cover A's is just going to be a fun rainy day read when we get there. I prefer to read, like, this is Charles Soule. I prefer to read Charles Soule's work on paper more so than I do digitally. So if this is like that TMNT run. I could pile up TMNT for years and this for years and be just as happy reading it later, because for some reason this work, the way I like to read comic books in hand, just kind of goes hand in hand. What? With Charles Soule. Sometimes when I read Star Wars books digitally, it just kind of takes away the punch for some reason. I don't know what it is. Steve White says, "Wash your hands." What is up, Steve? Good to see you. Steve Messenger Art. Speaking of Star Wars and fantastic Star Wars art, we're going to drop Steve Messenger's IG link here real quick so you guys can get to know him and get to meet him, because Steve does some absolutely fantastic Star Wars art. And for those of you that have been following the channel for some time now, saw that he did a sketchbook page for us at Baltimore Comic-Con this past fall. And it was To Die For Boba Fett cover, sitting on the throne, not cover, but page for us. And that was absolutely amazing. So if you guys don't know Steve White, please click our Steve Messenger art. Steve and Steve back to back here. Hello, Steve. Meet Steve. Steve, I'm Steve. This is Steve. Yes. Check out Steve Messenger art. Give him a follow. I know he hits up a lot of conventions, and he has probably one of the coolest, biggest booths going on at a convention. Zuni with the $5 super chat right there with a little fist bump action for Wednesday. Don't forget, everybody, all super chats, all super stickers, and ad revenue and the entire monetization for this channel for the year of 2022 goes to Mission 22. We are working on that plan to figure out if we do it quarterly or if it's going to be twice a year. We'll figure it out, but that is happening. So every time a donation is made, know that that's going to Mission 22 in support of that mission. Yes, absolutely, man. Just here to hang out, but be sure you guys got to follow him. Check out his artwork, because he did a stunning Cad Bane piece for somebody that he's got another one. Excuse me. Be sure to check out his art, though. Seriously, check it out. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna enjoy it. Steve Messenger, actually, I'll hit you up on IG after this. I got a question for you. But yes, we're sticking with Marvel. We're sticking with Star Wars. We are on High Republic issue 15. Now, the High Republic isn't done yet, but this reads as like the end of the story arc for these Jedi warriors as we know them. And if I remember correctly, this is Jim Comics Key of the Week. And I've got a little bit to say about this Star Wars situation, because if you're not reading the tie-ins, you're only getting part of what's happening. And this is where it kind of gets a little bit important, where I feel like they're doing a little bit better job writing this together. But there's issue 15. We've got the additional covers. So issue 15 is supposed to be the first appearance of the Leveler or the Levelers in a form that only Force wielders can see, if I remember correctly. So this is where this gets a little bit confusing with the High Republic and some of the tie-in stuff. The end of phase 1. Thank you, JP. The end of phase 1. This is where it gets a little bit confusing. This Leveler or Levelers in this read, they apparently have 2 cameo appearances and 2 first appearances, because they appear differently to Force users and non-Force users. Well, that's spread out across like 3 or 4 books. So are they just manufacturing this stuff to make more key books? I feel a little duped. I feel a little duped. But the other part of my brain's kind of like, ooh, cool, puzzle pieces. We're putting this together. And then it's interesting that this character, this new evil entity, is being seen differently based on whether or not you're a Force wielder or a Force user or non-Force user. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. But then my wallet's like, hey, what the hell's going on here? Why do we have 4 keys for one? God, are you guys kind of with me on that? The lever has been there already. So the leveler has been there already. So it was back. The actual prose book seemed really cool. So there was like a cameo appearance in what, issue 12 or 13 or something like that. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to piece it all together at Chaos and Comics, but my wallet just feels a little duped that there's like 2 cameos and 2 first appearances based on. Wait, what? Huh? I'm gonna enjoy piecing the puzzle pieces together and reading this, but in the same fashion, I'm kind of like, wait. So that being said, we did get the variant, the cover price variant cover. Time for some Comic Man. Andy Shatterglass says, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I know when we talk about cutting back and buying less comic books, Star Wars is the one thing I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna let go. I'm in fact gonna go back to picking up Afra. And I think there might be a couple of titles in there. I just won't get the ratios right, but I'd be lying if I said that I didn't believe that Star Wars was going to be hotter as we go on over the next few years and just gets better and better. They're learning from some of the things that were done well in the past, and they're kind of learning from some mistakes. You don't trust stairs; they always are up to something. Oh, good lord! I thought I saw that as Star Wars. Leveler is Star Wars Punchline 3 first. Thank you. Yes. Okay. I was trying to remember there's a character out there that other people were talking about, and I'm I mean the semantics, the situation kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But as a comic book reader, I'm kind of like, ooh, neat. How does this fit together? Sort of appears in 12, then it really appears in Trail of Shadows 5. Thank you. But First Full is 15. Also sort of cameo. Thank you. Exactly. Yes. I was stunned to find out that Trail of Shadows 15, the 1 in 25 that I have laying here somewhere, is almost like an $80 or a $90 book asking price online. I'm like, wait, what? Anybody follow TikTok? That you got that one guy who's like, what? Either way. So still fooling around, still following along. The 1 in 25 Inandito, if I'm saying that correctly, that was on our pull list. We did get to pick that up. But what wasn't on our pull list, well, it was on our pull list and it did make it to the shop, but it was so heavily damaged that they couldn't sell it and they had to send it back, was the 1 in 25 for Eye of the Storm. Gotta love cover A. I'm actually digging cover A. And then the Noto, we did get the Noto. So a couple of cover price a cover price variant and a cover A. Pretty happy with that. I got about halfway or a quarter way through this and then realized that I wanted to reread issue 1 and then go back and finish this one again. Because that's where my brain kind of got broken trying to figure out, wait, cameo and another first appearance. And just exactly like JP says, sort of appears in 12, then it really appears in Trail of Shadows 5, but First Full is 15. Also sort of, so it's kind of like, Marshawn Rowe was brutal when he tested the leveler's powers. Okay, so maybe that's further into where I got in issue 2. But yeah, I really want to go back and finish reading that. Trying to find a way to make more time in that very middle of the day chunk to get the reading done that I want to, because the idea behind doing a new comic book day show every Wednesday, for me, what I want to do differently is I want to read at least 60+% of the books that I'm picking up where we sit down, talk to them, or talk about them, talk to you guys about them, because I want to work to do spoiler-free kind of reviews. For those of you guys that collect like me, then you kind of have an idea of, I better not miss out on that, or you kind of know where we're at, right? That's kind of that situation. I'm trying to work to build that bigger chunk of time in the middle of the day. I think I got through like 3 or 4 issues today. Not bad, but at the end of the day, I kind of wish I would have been able to get some more under my belt. Managed to get the 1 in 25 of Eye of the Storm. Very cool. My LCS did say replacements were coming though, so I'll get to see what happens with that. And it's just I can't let go of Star Wars, but I'm like first in line for pretty much most of the titles over the last year and a half at my LCS for all covers, all copies, all of the ratios. So it's just kind of like it's the position that I don't really want to give up, because if I change my mind an arc later or a year later, I have to wait for that cycle to happen for me to get back into that position. So this means I unless there's damages, I generally don't miss out on any of the ratio variants, or unless the LCS doesn't order enough to make it there. That 1 in 25 is going for it is interesting. See, I haven't even looked at the secondary market on a lot of this other stuff. You can talk to the books, no judgment. Rob has connections. He says absolutely. So that's it. That's the chunk of Star Wars. Today was very Star Wars heavy. We always a lot of times say make mine Marvel. Well, today was make mine Star Wars. For only 2 reads, there's a fair bit of books out there. There's technically there should have been a total of 6 in the stack today. So moving right along. That's it for Marvel. We're moving on to Image now. Newburn 4 is out. And for me, this is a little bit different Zdarsky than what I was anticipating. So I've been a little less motivated to read Newburn than what I thought I would be, because Newburn kind of reminds me of Brubaker's stuff. And Brubaker's stuff for me, I've got to like no TV, no noise, no distractions, sit down and really immerse myself and really get into it. But Newburn I added to the pull list because it's Zdarsky. At this point, with my quote unquote reading, comic book reading experience or level of where I'm at, when I see Zdarsky, I just add it. When I see Lemire, I just add it. When I see there's a couple of those names, Brian K. Vaughan, I just add it. That's one of those things where it's like I'm always willing to give these certain creative teams and writers at least the first arc at a minimum, regardless of whether or not it's a story or a style story that I like, just because I want to support them and check them out. Did you get the Grogu cover appearance second print? I came in late. Yes, we did. We were able to pick that one up. And I'm Chaos Man. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about that because I feel like it went for a second print. People had plenty of opportunities to order a ton. Yet I'm not seeing a lot of extra availability here. I want to check the online stores tonight after the show, after we're done going live, see what's available and what pricing is. But I feel like the larger fan base of Star Wars and of Mandalorian and Disney Plus that's following a lot of the Star Wars stuff, I feel like a big chunk of them aren't Wednesday warriors. They're not regular comic book day readers, and they don't know what's going on yet. So I feel like what was printed, what was created, might not be enough to satiate the rest of that fan base out there. So Chaos, I'm curious on how you feel about that because I know you've really got your thumb to the pulse of a lot of the comic book industry and what's going on. You're reading 10 times more than what I'm doing. You do a much better job than I do keeping up with a lot of the reads, a lot of what's going on. Did a Star Wars haul earlier tonight, Andy. Definitely go check that out, guys. I'll go check that out as well. There's no doubt about it. Star Wars, everything is hot, in my opinion, and it's just gonna probably have that little cycle of cooling off for the summertime and coming right back this fall, getting hot again. I don't see Star Wars letting up over the next decade. I really don't. We're getting back into the movie theaters. The streaming service with Disney Plus is just going to add that extra batter to the batter cage. I don't know. It's just that extra team player, so to speak. But we're still an Image, and I'll say it every other week, all the time. I am absolutely grateful to be. Damn it, JP. All right. To the guy that invented Zero, thanks for nothing. Every other week, Walking Dead Deluxe comes out. I'm absolutely, truly grateful to be able to relive this series issue to issue in full color. And I'm digging it. I'm really digging it. We just went through one of the most brutal chunks of story, in my opinion, for The Walking Dead. That abduction storyline chunk with Michonne and then kind of like her rebuttal or revenge at the end of the last issue. And now the shoe kind of drops when they get back to the prison. No spoilers for an issue or for a series that's been out this long. And they get back to the prison, it's overrun, and Rick doesn't know what to do. And I bet he could use a hand. God dang it. Last book you'll ever read, issue 5 is out. This is one of those ones where Cullen Bunn. All right, adding it to the pull list. It's Cullen Bunn. I haven't read a single issue on this yet. That's bad, Andy. Bad Andy. But it sounded really cool. I definitely want to sit down, and this is going to be one of those rainy day, like, if I ever have a day where I can't go to work because I don't feel well, but I feel well enough to read, but I can't be well enough to work, I would sit down and read this. One of those rainy day reads. Holy moly. And then I'm dubbing this now. We definitely picked up the Mac Pack. These Mac Packs are gorgeous. I just didn't have enough time. We extended the start time of the show out 30 minutes so I can get time to bag and board because I got sucked into reading some good reads. And that Mac Pack is, I don't know how often they're going to put these out, but pretty affordable. If you think about what retailers charge for an exclusive variant, $20, $30, $40, you're getting all these excellent David Mack covers. This is issue 6 through 10 for, I think it's $39.99 or $29.99. Really good deal, in my opinion, if you were Something is Killing the Children collector. Now, remember, those first 10 issues, those were the keys. So these are reprints of basically those keys, the first appearances of characters. So I probably won't pick up the Mac. I'm not going to lie to myself. I'll end up picking up all of the Mac packs as they keep printing them. But the first two were the more important ones, issues 1 through 5, and now issues 6 through 10, with the first appearances of the characters. So definitely didn't want to miss out on those. LBYDR, that hasn't been canceled. The last book you'll ever read, or it hasn't, which means they must have had the whole thing already done, minus just printing before they got that far. Either way, that's the books. Those are the books. I mean, we got a lot of value for what we picked up today. Only one ratio variant that we had to pick up and pay for so far, which was that High Republic 1 in 25, the Andito. And I don't even think that was that expensive. I think once we're getting far enough into some of these reads where the interest kind of wanes and less people order it, which kind of drives these ratio variants to lower and lower prices. Now, shit, that's still the same. That's still the same Star Wars 1 in 25. It's ratio essentially. But it's not $50. It's not $100. Either way, those are the books. And now for everybody sitting here watching, we will go over the books one more time, but I got a special announcement tonight for you guys. I am stupid over the moon excited for this. Beth, if you're here watching live and you're in the chat, please speak up, because this Friday on Whatnot, I know you guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about Whatnot, but this Friday Night Fire on Whatnot is going to be something special. We have a dual stream event going on with Beth the Chalk Girl this Friday. She is going to be live sketching a copy of 2015 Karen Gillan Darth Vader #1, the sketch variant, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. So we're going to auction off a slew of good books, and then we're going to split screen at the exact same time we're auctioning off those books. Beth is going to be live sketching that cover. She's going to be doing, so you got the first appearance of Black Satin, so a good key book to have, in my opinion. I am a fan of that character and cannot wait to see him back on screen, but she's going to be doing a custom live sketch on screen. And we're going to auction it off at the tail end. She's going to auction it off at the tail end. So the only question I have for her yet is, does she want to start it for $1? Artists, have an idea. The artists have those scales of where they price their work. I don't know where she's going to want this to go in, but at the very end of the show, that's going to be probably one of the last books. We are going to have a book for Mission 22. And speaking of that, you want to talk about Whatnot exclusive variants that are on fire. We are going to have a Whatnot exclusive variant go up for Mission 22. So that's going to be a blast right there to see where that lands. But once again, for the people just walking in right now, this Friday Night Fire only on the Whatnot app, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Follow ComicManAndy, because Beth is going to dual stream with us while we sling some awesome books. She is going to do a sketch cover, and we are going to auction off that sketch cover at the very tail end of the auction. And it won't be a massive time commitment, right? It's not going to be a 2, 3, 4 hour, 5 hour marathon. It's going to be somewhere between an hour and 2 hours. So you get to see the cover come to life, and then you get to bid on it if that's what you're looking for. I'm super excited for that. That's going to be a blast. Friday Night Fire really is loaded with fire. Tons of good things going on. But that's New Comic Book Day. Let's hit up this chat real quick because everybody's here hanging out. Yes, we did get that Grogu cover today. JP slinging the seriously good jokes. That was a super light week for you. Yeah, like we said, we're cutting back. I, am human and make mistakes very often. I do learn from them, though, and it is time to cut back. I want to spend more time going to conventions and hunting for books and digging through bins. I think the last 2 years were, for many of us, we just didn't get enough time to dig through bins, and now there's like a convention every weekend or every other weekend within driving distance for me, that I'm starting to find all these smaller circuits, and it's a ton of fun to meet these people and dig through the bins and find great books. And don't forget, man, I think, didn't C2E2 just put its tickets on sale recently? Motor City Comic Con's just around the corner. Speaking of that, Beth the Chalk Girl's got her own convention schedule lined up. I know this past Monday on Modern Comic Mondays, please head over there and check out the replay. We did like a full interview. Ryan from Rhinoverse and I did a full interview with Beth, dropped all the links in there and how you can support her, and definitely brought awareness to what's going on this Friday. That's going to be a ton of fun. Come on, Mama's in the house. Good to see you as well. Thanks for being here. Luke's Comics. Where do dads store their dad jokes? Oh, my God. In a database. Yep. That KG run was so damn good, he says. Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Come on, mama says, hey. JP says, hey to come on, mama. Can't have huge weeks all the time. Yeah. And the idea is to start having more balanced, regular, normal weeks and getting back to cover A's, because the bulk of high ratio variants, as JP knows full well, those high ratio variants, unless they're seeing like triple ratio out of the gate or just out of the gate, they don't really hold their value. So for a lot of us that go to our LCS and we pay ratio prices for like a 1 in 25 or a 1 in 50 or something like that, or if we get a little bit of a discount and are just under that, most of us still end up losing money on those ratio variants, whether it be $4 or $5 here or there. But then there's many, many, many other people out there that are paying $80, $90, $100 or more by other places, and they're just not quite educated enough to know that that's not going to hold a lot of times. It really isn't. So the idea is to get back to more streamlined, normal weeks and pick up the ratio variants that are available that I'm not committed to pick up when and if my gut instinct tells me to or my intuition tells me to. You know what I mean? Based on what I'm reading. Kind of get back to that instead of just, except for Star Wars. You guys can kill me later, but except for Star Wars is everything. Everything Star Wars is going in the box. Don't care. That's kind of where I'm at with that. I told my wife I wanted to be, God bless America. Nobody's having a real conversation in here anymore. I told my wife I wanted to be cremated. She made an appointment for Tuesday. God dang it. Oh, that one's going up in smoke. You should share with us which conventions are coming up that you'll be attending. So a lot of these are kind of on the fly, man. I know for sure Motor City Comic. Actually, yeah, we'll do repisode. Rutro Scooby. We're gonna do an episode, probably just record the content and edit it and make it like a 5-minute show of all the conventions that were like locked and loaded with hotel stays and actually gonna be there and doing some Whatnot sales. The comic convention that Whatnot's gonna be at, and like Steve Messenger, I know he's putting together his convention schedule this year. But yeah, I'm gonna actually do that. We're gonna take a really much tighter look, because I know Planet went out in Kansas City. A lot of you guys are asking me if I'm interested in going out to Kansas City next month, I think it is. And Two Brothers Comics, Lexington, has mentioned going down to Lexington. Here's the tough part of it is, though, the way I was able to make these affordable and go to what I thought were going to be 2 or 3 times as many conventions as I've gone to in the past, instead of going to 3 or 4 a year, I was going to try to go to 12 or more. The way I was going to make that affordable and achieve that goal was going to be driving. As many of you know, we're approaching $4 a gallon gas. So that's going to take a little bit extra planning. Not saying it's not achievable. Just saying it's going to take a little bit more planning than I thought. Don't mean to bring a damper down on that, because good gravy. But what happens if somebody slaps you at a... God, come on, JP. It hurts. God. What kind of fruit do ghosts like? Blueberries. Yes, this is true. Double O, what is up, man? Good to see you. And the Maniacs are in the house. Thanks for being here. JP says, get down here, come to Planet. Yeah, you're like the 6th person that says I should come to Planet. I know Skeff's Comics was talking about possibly going as well. It might be one of those ones where I just try to find an affordable plane ticket and affordable hotel room and just do that, because I think when you start getting into that 9-10 hour driving stretch, based on gas and bathroom breaks and snack foods and cheeseburgers and everything else on the road trip. I love road tripping, don't get me wrong. But by the time you tally up all the receipts, like my receipts to Baltimore, I could have flown for the same price. But then again, I get to haul a ton of crap home with me that I couldn't if I was flying. So that's kind of the other part of it too, where the road trip aspect is a ton of fun with a lot of these conventions that are 10 hours or less away from me. Is that little road trip becomes I can take whatever I want with me back home. Pretty much. Ooh, that's a scary premise too. Ooh, don't tell the boss. Either way, just make it happen. You can crash with me. JP says that's something that might not be able to turn that down. I need to find some Northeast conventions. Luke, I can't remember where you're at, but there's a lot going on over here in the Northeast tri-state Great Lakes region area. Hitchhiking is a little cheaper. He always says it is, depending on the value you're providing for the driver. I'll leave that be. Mark the Cuddy Stark, what is up? We're at $7.50 a gallon. Mark, are you in Hawaii? Mark, I can't quite remember where you're at, but that's nuts, man. Or is it $7.50 a liter? Well, if it was a liter, you would have said liter. But the cheeseburgers are best. Yes, you're not wrong, because you live in your own little area hanging out and you got your favorite cheeseburger places. But then when you go on a road trip, you're like, oh, everybody talks about this. I'm going to try this out. Everybody talks about that. I get to try that out. And then you actually get to see where they land on your cheeseburger scale of greatness. I'm going to trademark that. But yeah, let's get through these books again one more time really quick. 18 people watching. We're going to hit up the announcement as well. And like we said, I'm dubbing it right now. Western Australia is $2 a liter. That's right, Mark. You're in Australia. $2 a liter. And for those of you that haven't done the math yet, there are a lot more liters in gallons than there are gallons in liters. What did I just say? I'm dubbing this right now, and I should trademark this, but these Mac packs, I told myself I was just going to get the first two, but I'm fairly certain I'm going to get the rest of them. I'm going to pop this open. I'm going to bag and board the rest of these here in a little bit after the show. Grand Rapids Comic Con is a banger. Baltimore was my favorite last year. Steve Messenger, Grand Rapids, we will be there in one way, shape, or form or another. Grand Rapids is like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing, but we're so close in West Michigan that I just don't feel like driving there every day and paying for parking every day. And Grand Rapids Comic Con is, I could see that being really fun for an artist or a retailer or somebody with a booth, but Grand Rapids Comic Con tickets cost more than Baltimore the last time I went. They cost as much as C2E2 in some cases. It's like the most expensive convention tickets that I've purchased in my recent memory, yet the convention is half the size and has a fraction of the comic book vendors that everybody else does. So it's something that I hope that Grand Rapids Comic Con is able to really iron out and work on and get a lot more comic book vendors going. They've created 2 shows actually now. They've got a comic book only show that I think was awesome last summer that I had a blast at and met Comic Burrito, Cole, and some of those other guys and got to hang out with them for a little bit. That was really cool. But then they did the regular convention one. Then they're double dipping for a lot of people. So I didn't even go to the regular convention one because I went to the comic only one, because generally when I go to the regular one, when I'm paying like C2E2 ticket prices to go to Grand Rapids and I don't get to actually see anywhere near as many comics, I was kind of like, I got to go for different reasons. That's a whole nother tangent. Double O, when you come to Motor City, I'll point you to some local cheeseburger spots. Absolutely. Motor City is back to its regular time of year, which we're really excited for, because that is mine and the CEO of the Comic Dojo. That's our anniversary weekend. For those of you that don't know, this year is our 10-year. Yes, it is our 10-year. Christ almighty, she's going to kill me. She's going to kill me. This is our 10-year anniversary, and we've been going to Motor City Comic Con every year as our anniversary present to ourselves because, in fact, for our 10-year, we probably should have like gone and done a bigger trip, but you know, with this world situation, it's really hard to plan. But we're excited that we're back to our anniversary weekend, and we're going to be going and spending several long days. Like, we're not just going for the convention. We're going to spend plenty of time in Detroit. So Double O, we'll probably have to take you up on that for some cheeseburger spots, man. That is awesome stuff. And the only unfortunate side of things is Motor City Comic Con. I love it at the Suburban Showplace. They book out that entire Hyatt Regency Hotel, so nobody can get rooms at the Hyatt unless you're like Steve Messenger, who's traveling. Steve, unless you know an inn where we can get a room at that Hyatt there, we're Hyatt members, but the owners of Motor City Comic Con book out that entire hotel so that nobody outside of the convention crew or people or special guests or artists can get in, as far as I know. So we're staying at another Hyatt further out of the way. It's a thing. But Steve, I got to message you about some art in a little bit here anyways. Perry Comics, brother, some chat royalty here. Good to see you. We're just going through these books one more time. Like we said, the Mac Pack, dubbing it the Mac Pack, the David Mack variants for issues 6 through 10, out today. Very affordable price. Very affordable price when you think about what stores exclusives are charging, or store exclusives are charging, $20, $30 a copy. But now you're getting all of these David Mack covers in like a $40 packet. That's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal for variant covers, especially David Mack variant covers, which are some of my favorite covers to look at. Usually hit the hotels that are a step above the Roach Motels, usually $70. Okay, so Steve, man, if you're an artist guest at Motor City Comic Con, I implore you to contact them directly or contact the people that run it, because they book out that entire Regency Hotel just for talent, just for like me. I can't go. I can't get a room there. My understanding is they book it for like the celebrity guests. They book it for it's a big giant hotel. There's no way that everybody in there that works for C2E2 can fill up that whole thing. I'd be shocked. I implore you to contact them directly. And if you're lined up to be a guest there, see if you can get a room there. Then you don't have to do any crazy traveling. And it's probably as cheap or cheaper based on whatever rates they can get for doing banging. I mean, getting the whole, excuse me, a hotel. Last book you'll ever read, number 5 is out, hits the reading pile. Like we said, it was a knee-jerk reaction to previews because of Cullen Bunn, and it was something that I wanted to experience more of his writing. So that leads us to Walking Dead Deluxe, and I'll say it every time that this is out. Walking Dead Deluxe, I am absolutely super grateful to be reliving this issue to issue in full color, because that was one of my biggest complaints when Walking Dead was first out, was black and white. I was like, I really kind of missed the point of the story, though, when I thought it was a real zombie tale. But then when you get further into it, you realize The Walking Dead isn't about the zombies. It's about the humans and what we've become during this whole apocalypse. But it's still kind of cool to be able to get to relive it issue to issue on release days in full color. AOA with the $3 super chat. Thank you so much. That goes to Mission 22. Thank you very much. Wave the gas pump nozzle near your tank on me, he says. That is awesome. That goes to Mission 22 for the year of 2022. We are supporting Mission 22, a charity that helps support veterans and works to prevent veteran suicide. So that's up. Next is Darth Vader 20, the second Prince Sprouse variant in that silver color. And I think I like the silver better than I like the gold. I really do. But you guys can catch the rewind for some of the topic points or talking points that we had about that variant. And then we're going to be Star Wars heavy here for a little bit. The 1 in 25 Anandito for High Republic 15. Then we've got the B cover, the cover price B cover the cover price ratio. If not a ratio, it's not a ratio, Andy. The cover price variant, cover B. It's been months since I bought the book, How to Scam People Online. It still hasn't arrived. I'm not sure how to tell you this, JP, but I think you're the topic of the book. Holy moly. And then issue 15, the end of what did JP said? JP said it better than I could. Like the end of the arc. I mean, High Republic's coming back this fall, but it's the end of JP. What did you call it, man? The end of the arc, the end of the. It could be different characters when it comes back. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Either way, this was Jim Comics Key of the Week. And I kind of wondered why. End of phase 1. Thank you. End of phase 1, JP says. This is the end of phase 1. Yes. So Jim Comics announces this is his Key of the Week. But there's like 4 other books that tie into this like appearance. Like JP and Chaos and Comics had said, Trail of Shadows number 5 is like the first full appearance of the Leveler. But then depending on whether you're a force-wielding individual or a non-force-wielding individual, you see them in different forms. Therefore, there's like 2 different cameos and 2 different first. It's a thing. Phase 2 is set 150 years further back in time. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, this is exactly why I'm keeping Star Wars on the pull list, because now that has me excited. I didn't realize they were going 150 years further back. JP, where do you find this information out, man? I don't know if I'm having a hard time. Maybe I'm not following the right sources on IG and Facebook and other places. I don't get these news updates, but I got to figure out where I need to be learning or finding this stuff so I can learn about it going forward. Because right now I'm just scattergun, shotgunning everything at the wall, seeing what sticks, and it's all Star Wars. So I buy all Star Wars. Holy moly, AOA, Mission 22, time to double digit. He says, thank you so much, AOA. Like we said, we talked about Mission 22 for the year of 2022. That's what we're choosing to support. So all all channel monetization, super stickers, super chats, ad revenue, everything's going to Mission 22. And this is actually a really good time to point out that every Friday night, for those of you that are fans of Whatnot and do follow us on Whatnot, you'll notice that I'm trying to every Friday have at least one book to put up, and the entire hammer price for that book goes to Mission 22, and then I cover the fees, the transaction fees for Mission 22. So just this past Friday, we auctioned off a CGC 9.8 black foil Invincible #1 Skybound exclusive. Went for $231. The final hammer was like $231, so that was a $231 donation to Mission 22, which was absolutely phenomenal. And there was like a $3 to $6 processing fee I covered. And then we're at that where basically we do that once a week, and then I ask Whatnot to kind of ask Whatnot to consider waiving the fees for that, because instead of doing one giant auction, benefit auction or charity auction, which is a lot of work, and you guys know that there's a lot of undertaking that goes on that, and there's a lot of tax stuff that goes with that. It's actually work life balance easier to just pick one high quality book, put it up, donate the money after everything's processed, and voila, we get to talk about Mission 22 every week, and they get a weekly donation. That being said, it might not be sustainable to do it every single week, so there might be some gaps here and there, but I have asked some other community members and some other retailers, not community members, but retailers out there, if they would consider possibly making some donations. So I'm going to follow up with some people, and maybe we'll see some more 9.8 CGC books. But yeah, JP says Star Wars YouTube channel. So there's several of them out there. I know I'm going to have to hit you up and find out which ones you're watching. There's a number of them I watch, but they're very speculative and very theory based. They don't talk a lot about the comic books. So I got to find out those right ones. So speaking of comic books, we're back here. We got Devil's Reign, X-Men. And when I asked to add Devil's Reign to my pull list, I didn't really realize when I wanted to watch or read all of it that I was going to end up getting all these tie-ins, because I'm not interested in reading X-Men right now. So I could have done without that. Could have done without Spider-Man. But once they're ordered and they hit my pull list, I'm not the type of person to cancel it and then have the LCS eat the cost. They're basically going to throw this in a $2 bin or whatever and just get their cost back at some point for a lot of books that, let's face it, we're down to the only stuff that really sells out that LCS makes its money on are the hot books of the week, the new keys that come out, and some of the ratio variants. And even then, there's a lot of stuff that they don't make their money on. But Nice House on the Lake issue 7 is out. And I very clearly remember where we left off on issue 6, and I was really excited, and it didn't quite pick up very easily. So I read it through, and it's good, but I need to go back and reread it. It's just something I'm looking for, that connective tissue to get me from issue 6 to issue 7 and find out what's going on. Because I almost feel like there's a bit of time jumping going on here too. I mean, you guys could, if you guys have read this, you guys could probably agree there might be a little bit of time jumping going on here. But the actual Star Wars official channel, okay, JP, I'm going to look into that and check that out. When I moved into my igloo, my friends threw me a housewarming party. Now I'm homeless. That's fair. Newburn #4 is out. Chip Zdarsky, like I said, it might not be the Chip Zdarsky style of read that I'm accustomed to or that I'm really looking forward to, but it's Chip Zdarsky nonetheless. And how do you ever really expand your reading horizons if you don't challenge yourself? And Newburn 4, the first issue that I read, it's kind of reminded me of some Brubaker stuff. So I'm going to need to immerse myself a little bit more when reading that. I'm just not a very good reader, apparently. I need to work really hard to read a little bit better. But then we're back to some more Star Wars, because there is Eye of the Storm issue 2. I love that cover A. And the Noto cover, we did get that. The 1 in 25 we are potentially going to be getting once they send replacements back. Because the 1 in 25 for this issue this week at my LCS was damaged so far beyond. It's like my buddy Andrew told me, he's like, they just basically threw it in with the other books, and it just got, it's like they literally threw it in the box. Just threw it in there. But if those replacements come in, then we'll have that issue where we'll have that copy. And then we're going to stick to cover A for regular Star Wars. I mean, Soul. I really enjoy Soul on Star Wars. I really do. Daredevil, the Woman Without Fear is going to be something I'm going to keep on here. If Zdarsky's going to keep writing something Daredevil related, I'm going to keep reading it. Daredevil was probably one of the longest running books on my pull list for a long time. Thanks to Brian at Simpleman's Comics for really telling me that I'm missing out by not reading Daredevil. And I think by issue 3, I had it on my pull list, or issue 4. So I didn't fall too far behind. And I've kept that on my pull list until this entire time this past fall, when they kind of changed out and they ended the Daredevil Zdarsky run and turned it into Woman Without Fear. And then they did this Devil's Reign crossover kind of event. So we'll see what happens with the future of that. But speaking of the future of things and wondering what's going to happen next, I could have absolutely sworn that I took this off my pull list. But I'm really intrigued by this cover. I love the greens. The fact that she's standing there with a bow, potentially fighting aliens. I'm like, you done goofed up. There's so many things I want to say right now that are inappropriate, but you goofed up. You're there with an arrow and a bow. So I want to see what's going on with this. And if it's just as mediocre of a read as it was the last couple issues, I'll drop it. But some people have told me that the second arc got better. Either way, that's New Comic Book Day. We got a lot of value. There's a lot of value sitting here, reading value here, for a lot less money than what we spent in the past. I'm really happy with that, actually. Which means if we can taper this down and get more regular, then it's going to be time to pick up some more bags and boards. It's going to be time to pick up some more short boxes, some other supplies. But there you go, JP. I got my friend an alarm clock that swears at him instead of beeps for his birthday. He's in for a rude awakening, and rude awakening it certainly is. That's New Comic Book Day. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Announcement time again, real quick, like we talked about this Friday. Please do me a favor, even if you can't make it, head over and bookmark on the Whatnot app Friday Night Fire for ComicManAndy and Beth. Show that little bit of support just by bookmarking it. The higher the bookmarks, the higher the chances that the show gets featured. If the show gets featured, that means we reach Beth's art reaches more people. Beth has a pretty decent following on IG, but I think Beth's work, especially her Star Wars work, is absolutely amazing. Her work with lighting is phenomenal. And I think more people out there would absolutely fall in love with her artwork if they know about it. And she has a very special announcement to make. I'm hoping she can make it this Friday on the Whatnot app. So please go over there and bookmark that now. I'm actually going to work on getting a picture and or a mini video, a mini spot put up so that people can see that and find out what's going on when they scroll. Because right now it's just the logo image. But then that means Sudden Death Saturdays is coming up again. I had to push it back a couple of times due to conventions. I had bronchitis one weekend, which was terrible. But there is another convention this weekend. So I'm torn. Do I stay home and do Sudden Death for an hour? Or do I go to the convention? I think I might have to push Sudden Death back into Saturday evening, Saturday night, and see how we do there. Because this convention is so ridiculously close. I don't want to miss out on it. And it's pretty inexpensive. And I'm sure I'm going to run into some friends and some other people. That's going to be a good time. And just make a day of it on Saturday. One love from Chicago. Jeff, what is up? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. And now that Jeff is here, please, if you are a fan of Whatnot and use the Whatnot app, head on over there and hit that bookmark button for this Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Beth will be dual streaming with me on Friday Night Fire, and she will be live sketching a cover on a sketch variant of Darth Vader #1, the 2015 Gillen run. So that's the first appearance of the Black Chrysanthemum. So already a decent key to have. And then you're going to get custom sketch work, a custom sketch picture from Beth herself. She's going to be utilizing inks. She's going to be utilizing some markers for color, and she's going to be utilizing some paint. So it's going to be sustainable on the cover. It won't just be chalk, which means we're talking CBCS, getting that sent out and getting that verified through CBCS. That'll be a process that you can do for that. And then if you see Beth at a show and want to do something like that, if she's not doing a big sketch piece, then you could potentially have her doing a sketch cover there, and if CGC facilitators there. I mean, you guys, when you guys see Beth's work and look at her prints, I'm not steering you guys in the wrong direction by any means. So we are really over the moon excited, because that means as we're auctioning off books on the top half of the screen, we're gonna have fun doing that. But while we're auctioning that off and people are watching those books and keep an eye on those, you're going to be able to watch Beth on the bottom of the screen the entire time for the entire auction as she sketches and does that cover. And it's going to be super, super cool. I think there's going to be a lot of fun entertainment value in that, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. I can't stop talking about this because the other reason I'm bringing this up again is he continues to hang out in this chat, even though he knows better. I'm just kidding. Steve Messenger, her stuff is crazy good. Steve, I would like to invite you to do the same thing. Consider checking out Whatnot. Watch us this Friday on Friday Night Fire. Bookmark it. If you like what you see, I'd like Steve to potentially be the next guest artist on Friday Night Fire for a sketch cover. Find a comic book sketch. Find a sketch that we're talking about a cover that we can do in an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours max. I can stretch a show to 2 hours. But Steve, I'd like to send an invite your way to be the next potential artist for a live sketch on the Whatnot app for Friday Night Fire over ComicManAndy. So I'm going to actually find, once again, Steve's Instagram link and Beth's Instagram link, and we are going to drop those real quick here before we part out for the night and say peace out, because I want you guys to check out these artists doing fantastic. I got to be honest, I am utterly shocked that Steve hasn't been contacted by Marvel to do some Star Wars covers. That's how good Steve's start. I gravitate towards Star Wars hardcore right now. But I am seriously shocked that Steve hasn't been contacted to do a Marvel or an IDW Star Wars cover. I really am. Like, there's a Cad Bane that I'm looking at here that is absolutely to die for, Steve. And you and I have been talking about that one that you sold. But seriously. And next up, Beth the Chalk Girl. Here is her link on IG. You can follow her on Twitch, Facebook, IG, YouTube, TikTok. She has tons of content out there, and I know she's actually doing some spots and pieces talking about this Friday, bringing awareness for that. But yes, Steve, it's not something we'll be able to do right away. We've got plenty of time to figure things out as far as ordering, looking for a sketch cover, and coming up with an idea. So, Steve, man, if you're interested in being the second ever sketch artist on Friday Night Fire for ComicManAndy, we'll pick a date in the future. Actually, Steve, May. Star Wars May is coming up. Oh, buddy. May the 4th be with you. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Seriously, Steve. Let's think about that. Let's think about, oh my God, this could be so much fun. All right, there's the links for Steve, and there's the links for Beth. Please go follow them and support them. Steve says he would be honored. Dude, let's talk about that, man. Let's see how maybe we can have that pan out, depending on schedules, obviously. But yes, there you go. There's those links again. They got double shared real quick. But that's New Comic Book Day Wednesday, and my tongue is definitely tied. Thank you so much for the great energy. Hit the follow button. Hit the subscribe button here on YouTube to stay tuned for content. Follow on the Whatnot app. Hit the bookmark for this Friday. You're not going to want to miss out watching this artwork take shape and potentially your opportunity to bid on it. You guys aren't going to want to miss that. You guys aren't going to want to miss on any content going forward because it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a ton of fun. So many conventions coming up this year. So much fun. Selling with Whatnot at conventions at C2E2 was a blast. We're going to be doing that more this year. That's going to be a total blast. I don't want to stop talking because now we're really on a roll having a good time. This is the best part about this content. This connective tissue that we call comic books is fantastic, right? But the most fantastic part all day, every day, are each and every one of you, the energy that you bring to the live streams, bring to channels, supporting of each other and supporting of us here. That's the best part. And you guys know how I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to go peace out. I'm going to go pinkies out. I'm going to catch you all on the flip side for the next one. But the most important part all day, every day, as I keep pumping the brakes here on you, stay original. Take care of each other. That's all we've got is us, is each other. That's all we've got, right? Don't let the world bring you down. You be the one to bring the world up. Have a good night, everybody. See you guys on the next one.
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.
Excuse me while I change. The roller boogie has made me sweaty. Yeah, sweaty. I love gold. I love gold.
Switch to targeting computer.
I love gold.
Stay on target.
I love gold.
Stay on target.
love gold.